Good morning. Here I am on my usual Sunday, a morning thought. Or a Sunday thought, sorry. Well, it is morning. And yes, I'm not awake yet. No, that's not true. I have been awake quite a while. But sometimes I don't have everything written down, and I like the live stream that I'm on. I just stream what's going on. I have a few words in front of me. And I didn't turn my phone off again, so I'm going to turn that back off again too, because otherwise I'll have to be deleting this right away. Yesterday was a mini reading day for me, which means that people come in and they've booked a time period on Zoom for a mini reading, 15-minute readings. And we go basically one after another with breaks for me occasionally. And as so often happens, I begin to see a theme that begins to come forward. Not for everybody, it's not the same thing for everybody, but a theme. And sometimes it's very noticeable, and other times it's kind of subtle. But when you get a large group of people who sign up for the same day, who sign up for the same, what you might say, in period of time, there is a similarity. Like why that day and maybe not another day, or things like that. So there often is a similarity, and you'll find that in your group of friends. You join friends because there's a similarity. You have a common base. Well, yesterday, the one thing I began to notice, what I was saying, as I said, not to everybody, but fairly regularly, was time. This is not the time. You have to wait. And actually, most of the waiting needed to be towards the end of the year or even into the beginning of next year. And that kind of shocks me because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, here I am in the middle of September, and that's not that far to December. And then the new year begins. So what do I want to say about time? Because right now we are in a very complicated time. Can't do this, can't do that, don't wear a mask, many of us don't really want to wear masks because we don't necessarily believe in them, and for what they say anyway. And hugs, very important. I had a hugs company for a few years where I did workshops on the importance of hugging, and 4 times a day was just basic, 8 for maintenance and 12 for growth. Right now, most people are scared to hug anybody. And that, to me, that's sad because that builds up your immune system. Breathing in good fresh air when you go for a walk out in the woods creates a good immune system. What does that have to do about time? I don't know. That's just what came out. Probably because I've been thinking about that. Excuse me. Anyway, let's take a look about time. What happens to people is that 2 things happen. First of all, often you have to be patient. You have a goal, you want to do something, you want to go somewhere, and you need to be patient. And the being patient is versus, what is it versus? The opposite is impatient. There are people, and you may be one of these, and I can be in certain circumstances. You have a thought and you want to do it right now. Let's go. Let's go do it. Let's get it done. So, and then there's the other ones that are patiently waiting. And I began to think about this morning when I thought, I think I'm going to talk about time. Interesting topic, actually. One thought came to me right away that all things happen in the right time. Now, what is the right time? If you are a person like myself that believe that you work to co-create your life, and that you are the helmsperson, you are the steerer, you are the person that's in command of where your life is going, every time is the right time. But then there is the thought that I know I was taught, all things come to those that wait. And that is also true because sometimes it is not the correct timing. Sometimes when I'm lecturing on this about how to create, I talk about how through goal setting, you put a thought out into the universe and this is what you want. And it's often you have to wait for that. I always talk about computers because now we understand computers. For the computer in the sky to kind of pull it all together, to bring all the variables so that what you want arrives. Excuse me, so again, so I can see that with the thought patterning that comes to all those that wait, it means not to be too quick. And right now, because we are in this lull. And I felt it a few weeks ago. I went, what's going on? Everything's in a lull. Phone wasn't going, emails weren't coming in. There wasn't any kind. And then all of a sudden there was this rush of people phoning for appointments. But there was this lull. Well, it's still not clear as to where we're heading. So people pick that up. Remember, I've talked about the collective consciousness. People pick that up. And the key here is to know the correct timing. What's your timing? Does it feel on the inside of you, in your gut, that this is the time to move or time to wait? People who use pendulums, people who use other things, some people use their body to be their way of saying yes or no, kind of thing. I kind of use my fingers a lot for that. And so it's a matter of figuring out, is this the right time? But I'm like everybody else. I'm just living my life most of the time and not always thinking, is this the correct time? I'm not really sure about that. So it's really about recognizing what's going on in the world right now is a little bit like waiting to see. We keep hearing rumors that things are going to get tough in the fall. Well, we're entering the fall in a few days, and things are this, and that's kind of underneath everything. People are waiting, and so it shows up in people's readings that they need to wait. They need to wait for things to become. They want this now, but the reality is they're not going to have it now. They have to wait. They have to be patient. And the majority of us, I truly believe in our North American, or maybe it's a world thing as we want it now, is they're not used to waiting. They're not used to waiting that time period for things to consolidate, for the beautiful energy that's around working for you to bring things together so that you can create this. So I want you to think about this week about how you are in relation to time. Are you patiently waiting for the appropriate time? Are you impatient, which means usually you're a little agitated and a little maybe just a bit more stubbornly upset because it's not here right now what you want? Clarity is another big thing I talk a lot these days to people, looking for clarity. But right now we're talking about being patient versus impatient in relation to time, when life is giving you exactly what you want. So just think about that. What do you have in your goals that you're having to wait for right now? Because most of us are on hold. Most of us are waiting. And so consequently, we do need to be patient. But that doesn't mean we lose sight of the goal that we are wanting, lose sight of the goal that we're wanting to create. So I want to thank you for listening once more to A Sunday Thought. I also want to thank you for those that push your like buttons, your subscribe buttons, and thank you for those who have already subscribed to the channel. Any comments, I'm always grateful to receive. And remember, you can email me at normacowie.com and sign up for my monthly newsletter where they have specials like mini reading day, other things that are coming up. I always have something planned in the future because I like to wait. Thank you, and you have a great week.